Hey everybody, Dr. Phil here. So this is going to be another video in Excel series. This is going to be looking more at formatting workbook text and data. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So what do you need to know about that? Well, you can add formatting to a workbook by choosing its fonts, styles, colors, and decorative features through the use of themes. So kind of make it a little more your own, if you will, a little bit of personalization, bit of customization. In Excel, a theme is a predefined coordinated set of colors, fonts, graphical effects, and other formats that can be applied to workbooks to give them a consistent. To choose the font typeface, you just select the cell or the range. On the Home tab in the font group, click the font arrow and then select a font name. Simple enough. To set the font size, select the cell or range. On the Home tab in the font group, you just hit the font size arrow and then select the size. That's literally it. To set the font size, or the style, excuse me, select the cell range. On the Home tab in the font group, just click the bold, italic, or underline button, or you can also use Control, like Control B is bold, Control I is italic, and then Control U is to underline. As far as the color goes, or want to select the cell or range, on the Home tab in the font group, just click that font color arrow and then just select the color. Simple enough. To format a text selection, double-click the cell to enter the edit mode, select the text to format, and then just change the font size, style, or color, and then just press enter, as you will see. Um, so applying fonts and font styles. So the theme font are associated with a particular type of theme, and you can sort of control that. It's used for headings and body text, and it changes automatically when you change the theme applied to the workbook. The text is formatted with a non-theme font, which retains its appearance no matter what theme is used with the workbook. So kind of a handy feature. Different character styles, like serif fonts have extra strokes at the end of each character, should you want to use those. Sans serif fonts, think about sans basically without. Sans serif fonts do not have the extra strokes. Every font can be further formatted with a font style, so like italic, bold, or bold italic, like I was just saying. You can also underline them. There's also special effects like strike through and colors that you can use too. You can also, if you so desire, if you choose to, you can increase or decrease, again, if you so desire, the font size. So here you can kind of see it here, right? So the fonts, these are all the different ones. Now, I'm only showing some here. There's a whole bunch of different ones. And you can also, up here where it says Calibri, where that I typed it in, you can also type in there, like you could start putting in TIM and it's, you'll see like Times New Roman pop up, for example. We have a live preview of the Arial black font, as you can see here. And then all of the available fonts I was saying are here. Right now, I've got the Arial black font, which is selected. So applying a font color. So the theme colors are the 12 colors that belong to the workbook's theme. 4 for the text and the backgrounds, 6 for the accents and highlights, and 2 for hyperlinks. The standard colors are always going to be available, regardless of what you're doing. You can also, a lot of people don't realize this, you can also create custom colors in Excel. The mini toolbar contains buttons for common formatting options used for the selection. And when filling a cell's background with color, also known as a fill color, can be helpful for highlighting data, differentiating parts of a worksheet, or adding visual interest to a report. So sometimes, for example, if I'm doing an Excel spreadsheet, if there's some number that I want maybe a client or students to see, then I'll put that in yellow. So it kind of jumps out at you when you first open it because it's important and I want you to see it. The same selection of colors are used to change the color of cell text can be used to change the cell background as well. So here we can kind of see it, right? So here's the button to wrap the text within a cell. The light blue text is on the white background in this example, so just playing around with the colors here. And of course down here the text is also wrapped in the cell. The width of column B, as you can see I made this bigger, is 30 characters. The labels are white text on in here, like a white text on a light blue background. So kind of the opposite of what you see in column B. All right, adding a background image. So another way to add visual interest to worksheets is with a background image. Many background images are based on textures such as granite, wood, or fibered paper that look pretty cool. The image does not need to match the size of the worksheet. Instead, a smaller image can be repeated until it fills the entire sheet. Background images do not affect any cell's format or content. Okay, fill colors added to cells appear on top of the image, covering that portion of the image. So it's sort of like top down, if you will. In Excel, you can collect sales data such as gross sales, cost of sales, operating expenses, net profit or loss, items sold. Very useful for business owners. Sales data can be used to calculate sales statistics for an entire company or specific stores and products. So, if you don't want, if you're a business owner, especially a small business owner, you don't want to spend a bunch of money on, fancy software to do all this, just know you can use Excel and it's very cheap. So here we can see like overall sales statistics, right? We've got the items sold. We've got to compare this to the previous year. Down here, we've got per store sales statistics calculated by what we did here is we divided the overall statistics by the number of stores. So again, just trying to give you an idea as to, some things that you could also do in Excel. All right, applying number formats. So the general format displays numbers exactly as they are typed. Okay, some numbers may require formatting to make interpretation easier. So in some cases, you might need to change the number of digits displayed to the right of the decimal point. You may want to add commas to separate thousands in large numbers. You can include currency symbols to numbers to identify the monetary unit being used. You can also identify percentages using the percentage symbol. Now, Excel supports two monetary formats. That's right, two. So, the currency format places a currency symbol left of the first digit. So, typically here that would be a dollar sign. It'll also display negative numbers with a negative sign. You can also put that in parentheses if you want. The accounting format fixes a currency symbol at the left edge of the column. That's kind of the accounting standard. It displays negative numbers in parentheses. That's kind of what I was saying. There's the accountant in me. And it displays zero values with a dash. So here you can kind of see like the accounting format on the left, right? You can kind of see it looks all different. The dollar signs all the way over to the left, or whatever currency you're using. And then here, the regular format, the dollar sign is right up against it. Notice the negative sign versus parentheses, dash to denote no value versus a zero. And then again, you notice they're pretty much the same, just again, except for the dollar sign. All right, what about date and times? So date and times are stored as numbers, not as text. So you can apply different formats without affecting values. So the short date format is simply month, date, year. The long date format displays the day of the week and the 4 month name, in addition to the day of the month and the year. Other built-in formats include formats for time, and you can also use 12, or you can also use 24-hour formats. So we can format the appearance of individual cells by modifying the alignment of the text cell within the cell. You can also indent the cell text, sort of move it over a bit if you want. Also adding borders of different styles and colors. And we'll see that in a second. As far as the default goes, the text is aligned with the left bottom border by default, and the numbers are aligned with the right bottom border again as default. So the buttons to set alignment options are in the alignment group, which of course is part of the Home tab. Indenting is useful for creating subsections. So it's very common in accounting. A single black border appears above a subtotal. A single bottom border is added below a calculated number, and a double black bottom border appears below the total. And then last thing before we sort of see an example of this in Excel, merging cells. If you merge cells, it retains only the content and cell reference from the upper left cell in the range. So it's not the whole thing. So merge options. We have merge and center, which merges the range into one cell, horizontally centers the contents. You can also merge across, which merges each row in the selected range across the columns in the range. Or you can merge cells, which merges the range into a single cell, but does not horizontally center the cell contents. So here's sort of an example here. So there's the merge and center button I was talking about. So again, notice I'm on the Home tab. There's your merge and center. So like in this example, we've got range A35 through A42, which are merged into a single cell, which is A35. And then down here, we've got ranges A43 to A45, also merged into a single cell, which in this example is going to be against A43, again, because remember, it's the top left cell. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in a future video. Take care.